A day in the life of the warriors. Yujiro. Yujiro, as the most active member of the warriors, leads the most action-packed life. Always on the hunt for booty, racking up a total of 30% of the warriors' booty hunts. However, when he's not on the hunt for the rectums of the evils in reality, he spends time observing his 143 kids. Yes, Yujiro has 143 kids from back in the days when he was a menace to society during his King Vaughn era. He was breeding everything that breathes, hoping that one day, at least one of them would succeed. But then he found a favorite son in the form of Baki, and put all his time into him. If y'all thought he treated Jack badly, at least Jack knows who his father is. Some of these poor bastards just have to deal with being fatherless and cope with the mood swings of being a Hanma. Imagine one day you're in high school, and you end up in a fight. You get a nosebleed, and the next thing you know, you start moaning because your entire bloodline consists of fighting freaks. Now you're in the principal's office for inappropriate behavior after beating up a group of 5. But now that Yujiro is a warrior, he feels indebted to these kids, so he observes them. Sometimes, even when they are in need, he throws them a little help. When they are lost and don't know what to do, he gives them fatherly advice. Sometimes he enters their room when they are about to clap their girl for the first time and tells them to put their dick all in her stomach, then disappears back into the night, leaving them both traumatized that a strange man entered their room just to tell them to smash. Venom. Venom enjoys creating more strands of power for himself by creating something he calls the Black Nut. What this is when Venom absorbs into the host, absorbs their skills, memories, and abilities, and is spat out as a new Venom symbiote. These new blobs of Venom then travel back to the original Venom main body, where it accumulates. This also leaves the host permanently in Venom's view, no matter where they are. So, Venom doing this creates a sort of cosmic spiderweb where he can use the birthplaces of his new Venom blobs as tracking devices. In fact, using this has the second best location sensing in the corpse, only being beaten by Sylvia. However, unlike Sylvia, who observes all of reality and locates where worthy marks can be found, Venom is only connected to the ones he has already clapped, which he often uses to just watch them when he's bored, either laughing at them after struggling to recover from getting the 19 inches, or crying tears of joy and pride when a villain becomes a productive member of society. Venom is also used for more recon than any other warrior due to his cosmic web, since Sylvia rarely ever goes onto the field. In fact, he was the first one to notice cheeks were being clapped, and not by the warriors. And this allowed them to theorize that Randy was not dead as they first thought. He is currently working to locate him by spreading his web further in hopes that the range will allow him to locate Randy. Otherwise, he would just be in Marvel Rivals, ending win streaks for the love of the game. Alucard. Alucard just be doing anything. As it was stated by Rick Sanchez, everything Alucard says in his Dracula flows is 100% fact. There is no cap in his rap. However, to never run out of flows, Alucard has to continuously do outlandish feats to show that he truly is him. This not only continuously shows that this truly does not mean anything to him, but also this is the way he gains power. The act of not only flowing, but adding to his flows increases his strength. Some of the events lead Alucard to gain more flows than others. Sure, buying Ops Block and turning it into a male strip club is cool and all, but having continuous beef with Popeye the Sailor Man allows for things like being turned into toilet paper but still throwing hands to happen. Or turning the entire Pink Lantern Corp into your intergalactic pimping empire. The thing is, though, even if Alucard would gain nothing by doing the things he does, even if no one would ever find out about his adventures, he would still do them, not for pride or anything like that, but for the fact that he always needs to know that he is him. He will continue to be him, and he will always be him. That is why he is Alucard. Shrek. Shrek usually just spends time with his family as much as possible, even though keeping his occupation a secret from Fiona has driven a wedge in their relationship deeper than he would have expected. They both put their disagreements aside to raise their children. However, at the very least, they try to keep their relationship problems out of their kids' lives. Unknown to them, however, the kids have observed them fighting. This has led to them becoming rebellious, adding more stress to Shrek's home life. This leads to Shrek taking his stress out on the ones he loves, which is why he usually goes after the strongest opponents. Otherwise, the anger and hate infused in his attacks would have made the target de-atomize from his hate-filled strikes. In fact, him saying he is love is more of an ironic statement, considering he's fueled by hate. It truly shows that even though Shrek is the strongest, he has things that he cannot overcome. It's truly amazing that he still cares about his family, even though he is an entity far higher in the cosmic food chain than them. It would be like a human caring for an amoeba. Maybe that is a feat of Shrek's strength, that even as strong as he is, and so much above his former friends and family, he still loves and cares for them. Maybe that's why he's known as the one who loves. Even with this power, he is still bound by the love in his life. But this is just a theory. No one truly knows what goes on in the mind of the strongest. This is all just theorizing about how the psychology of the great green ogre works. Gojo. Gojo, after ascending, only focuses on two things now: perfecting cursed energy and perfect light skin energy. Even though Sylvia technically has the only official right to do female hunts as a booby warrior, Gojo does not give a shit and practices his light skin energy on any evil woman he deems worthy. Some may even think this is a blessing because, as opposed to getting your titties stolen, given a reverse BBL, and having your coochie walls evaporated, in comparison to that, being rizzed up by a blue-eyed demon seems like a reward. This has, however, caused turmoil between the two warrior organizations. But given the booby warriors' past of targeting males, which the warriors ignored, now the booby warriors just have to deal with Gojo rizzing up their targets. Much to Tatsumaki's annoyance. Then again, you would be annoyed too if you were trying to do your job and you see a white-haired motherfucker busting it down, preventing you from doing your job. All while you yourself are being influenced by him busting it open like the gates of Babylon. But truly, Gojo is revolutionizing a section of the Booty Warrior's power set that no one has ever really dived into. The efficiency he is getting with his light skin riz is reaching levels not even Shrek knew it could reach. His hip thrusts are hypnotizing, his stare paralyzing, his meat swinging, his nuts dangling, his ass clapping, all this mixing with the natural aura of a booty warrior makes something that would have nuns doing the ahigeo. It could make a granny begin ovulating again. It could make a stud go to default settings. Truly, what Gojo is doing is a work of art. Goofy. Goofy is the most driven when it comes to gaining power. That dog is on a mission. Hell, even if he didn't become a warrior, he would still be on a mission to ascend to a height equal to a warrior. His meeting with Yujiro was just good luck on his part. You can find Goofy in his realm training, practicing boarding for his inevitable battle with the former king. Even though he himself is the king of darkness, he rarely uses his power over the heartless and the creatures of darkness, as he feels a king does not deserve to rule if he relies on his subjects. This only drives him to seek even more power. He is being trained by Yujiro in martial arts, and he and Gojo are being tutored by Shrek in Booty Warrior magic control. He is learning the depths of darkness from Alucard, who is even more worthy of being the king of darkness than Goofy himself. But as we all know, that shit ain't nothing to him. Sometimes, when he is alone with his thoughts, he wonders about Sora and Donald. How would Sora react to him now? Would he still consider him a friend, even though Goofy is on a dark, heartless path? Or would that joyful boy still see him as a friend? And would Donald think his sacrifice to save him was worth it? Seeing what he became, that Goofy became the king of the same creatures they spent years killing, these thoughts plague Goofy, which is why he never truly rests, always roaming, always wandering, for he knows the answers may be things his long-dead heart cannot take. Sylvia. When she isn't gooning to AI-generated Kazuma hentai or locating, confirming, and then dealing out the warrior's new targets, she does pretty much nothing, rarely even hunting, and hasn't found a niche to gain power. So her growth is the slowest among the warriors, and after her banishment from going near Kazuma, she has even less motivation to become stronger. However, given the Randy incident, she is now forced to look for a niche to gain strength, which she found in the form of her chimera nature. To put it short, she is slowly becoming a mix of the Thing, the Sentinels from X-Men, Doomsday, and Megan Thee Stallion. But when we say slowly, we do mean slowly. She is still a gooner after all, and most of her time is spent polishing her pole. She also spends a lot of time with the booby warriors, finding their more feminine aura a nice change of pace from the sausage party that is the booty warrior base. I don't blame her either. Those boys are creatures over there. At least the booby warriors tried to act with some form of class, whereas the warriors damn near roam meat out like they're doing a salute for Harambe. The booby warriors have jurisdiction over femboys, so obviously, Sylvia's going to be there. It's like expecting a pig not to be where mud is. It's unnatural. Kratos. After his fall, the events of God of War and God of War Ragnarok happened. The events of his fall, him finding love again, the birth of his son, the death of his wife, and the loss of his son turned him into a different man, a more stoic, patient man. Don't get it twisted though. We will still run your fade, but he will have a polite conversation trying to avoid the violence before he starts stomping you in the nuts. He is currently on a search through pantheons to find anyone who can aid him in the search for his son. He is currently being trolled by Wukong, who is slowly guiding him to the place he seeks. It's a good thing Kratos is now more patient because old Kratos would be screeching like Muscle Man when he realizes he cannot kill the Monkey King and is being jumped by 5 clones of him that are made from the hairs on his taint. Luckily, Wukong is malicious, just a prankster. Otherwise, Kratos would have been long dead. Those Chinese gods are no joke, and to get to their realm itself was hell. He was stuck fighting an Asura for 500 years until he finally defeated him. Little does he know they respawn after a while, and he is coming back for that fade. Broly. He just keeps crashing out. That's it. He just roams in empty space, blowing things up because he has a lot of unprocessed anger, and he believes therapy is for pussies. It is unknown if the fusion of Broly caused the more psychotic Broly to chill out, or if the chill Broly started tweaking because of a screaming in his head every other minute. Either way, he has his own quadrant to rampage in. He even keeps some prisoners there that can't die. Only the truly evil are there, however. Griffith, the Q, Sho Tucker, and others of the such are used to sate Broly's unending rage. After that, he tries to reconnect with Chilai after they fell out because Z Broly's personality took over and was acting unfit for a distinguished gentleman. The 2 Broly personalities even had beef for a long time because of this. But since they share the same body, when they fought, it was them punching themselves in the face. It would be comical if the strikes and blasts weren't planet busters. When they did put their beef aside, they began desperately trying to regain the love of Chilai. But after Z Broly's display, she no longer saw him as the man he once was. You may ask what Z Broly said that led to this fallout. Well, and I quote, "Say, girl, you're just small enough for me to use you like a Pringles." Now, I'm not saying that wasn't out of pocket, but come on, size difference is crazy. Am I wrong? The newest member of the Warriors. He is viewed as something of an outsider. However, his being an asshole doesn't help him one bit. He's still a mercenary, still arrogant as hell. The only difference now is that half of the warriors can check him for being a cheeky little shit, and he hasn't met the Buddha yet. So, he does not know the level of power he's f***ing with. For now, he still treats the warriors as if they are a joke, even though he feels the increase in power and knowledge. But boy, oh boy, let's hope he doesn't step out of line enough to get the Buddha involved, or else he is going to get mollywopped in ways he won't even understand. He also somewhat abuses his power by using loopholes to make his bounty hunts easier, using booty warrior magic to effortlessly clap and trap them, collecting his bounty and their booty. As for killing them, he just dumps them in another universe. It's ingenious, but it makes you wonder, can't he just generate infinite money if he wants? The answer is yes, but he just likes hunting people. Him getting cheeks in the end is just a bonus. Deadpool. The second weakest warrior and second lowest in terms of hunting is the merc with a mouth. He does the same damn thing he normally does. but more efficiently because now he has cosmic powers. Thanos is in shambles because of this. Naturally, who wouldn't be? Deadpool shouldn't have a gun, much less cosmic powers. He's sick in the head, and he knows it. He enjoys it and will abuse it on the villains he hunts. If you were beefing with Deadpool, oh boy, are you in for a time. He'd be doing petty like taking your left sock, cutting your brake line, leaving uranium in your closet, and making you infertile, but only on the left side. And what are you gonna do about it? Try to fight back? You're basically fighting Cthulhu. You just gotta take it. And when he does hunt, he does it erratically. Whenever he feels like it, no quota, no reason, no niche, just who he feels like and when he feels like it. This makes him one of the scarier ones to be approached by because he truly is a wild card. You don't know what he's going to bring to the clapping. All you know is that it is going to happen and you cannot stop it. You just gotta stay there and take the fact that you're about to be dug out by the top 5 goofiest motherfuckers in reality. And your street cred will never bounce back from shame like that. Look at Kingpin. His cheeks were clapped once in jail, and even though he got his lick back, ain't nobody taking him seriously. How can you when you could just say, I know that fat ass of yours was making 3 claps per thrust in jail? And sure, he can kill you, but them words will cut that man deep. Almost as deep as how Deadpool is going. But you get the idea.